Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com, and today I want to show you how I'm going to be joining this poncho. And it's just a rectangle that's folded in half. Here is my fold side, and I have, on this one I have a 24-inch neck opening, and I've pinned the sides, or not pinned, clipped the sides just to hold it together, hold things in place, and then everything else will be left open on this side here. And so what I do is I have a piece of the yarn, and I just, because I'm probably going to go, so I'm going to sew up this side right here to where this clip is, this last clip, and then I'm going to sew back down. So I have a piece of yarn here that's about 2.5 times the length, maybe about 3 times the length even, because I'm going to come up one way and turn around and come back down. So to start this off, I just make sure that my corners are lined. I'm just going to put my needle through one of the corners. And like I said, there's a lot that you're going to leave. Now, I'm going to leave a tail on it. Oh, it's probably about a 10-inch tail, because I'll use that to weave in later, all right? I'll weave it right in the seam. So I'm just going to come across, directly across from where I am. I could also use a slip stitch to join this, but I think it's just as easy to go back and forth. Now, you could come across like this and join it, which is the whip stitch. Here, I'm going to show you. This is what a whip stitch is. You just go over your work, and then I would keep going in this direction. You keep inserting your hook always in the same direction, and you're going over your work. Okay, I have my side seam already done. I sewn back and forth. So I have my neck opening, and it's 24 inches around. All I did was I folded that rectangle, and I have this, here's my edge where I joined, and I have the wrong side out, okay? Now I have my collar done, and the collar is 7 inches wide by 24 inches long, and there isn't a right side or a wrong side to it because I turned it each time. And so what I'm going to do, I got just a couple of these little clips here. I'm just going to clip as I go. I made sure that it goes around. And I actually want a little bit of overlapping. And you can decide which way you want it overlapped to. Just a smidge. So I'm going to line it up right here on the edge. And I'll put a clip here, because then I'm going to use a yarn and I'm going to sew this around the hole. This is just like when I would sew my garments together. It's just done with yarn instead. Same concepts. Sew things inside out like this. You sew your seams, and then you turn it right side out. And so I'll eventually have this go all the way around. I will pin this all the way around like this. Like this, and I have just an itty bitty bit where I'm going to make sure that I stand this up and I join it right here. I'm going to join it. It'll be on top of the other piece, and then that way I'm going to turn everything inside out. This will be on the outside, okay? And then I also have 3 buttons, 3 of them. They're a little bit slightly different. It's just what I had in my button box. I didn't go out and buy anything special. Each one is slightly different, but very similar. And then I'm going to sew those on after I get this sewn on. But I chose these because you can, this is about 1 inch, because you can stick those through a hole if you really need to. If you really want to, this collar is going to be one that's, you know, hangs separately on the poncho. But if you wanted to, you could button it up, and it would be buttoned like this. Button it up and then have it more of a cowl. But I'm going to start sewing. I have my, just like I did on my sides, except this time I think I'm going to do a whip stitch. So I'm just going to take my yarn that I have threaded on my yarn needle, and I have a piece long enough to go around the neckline and then come back around, and I'm going to leave that long 10-inch tail. And so I'm just going to start going over the top of this, and I'll have to move that clip down in just a second. And then I'm going to come back. You keep inserting your hook on the same side when you do a whip stitch. You just go over your work and come back. I just wanted to make sure I showed you this piece, what I'm doing here. And a whip stitch. I'm just going to do this all the way around now. And like I said, I'm going to overlap that one just by this one, just a hair. And then I'm going to, because it'll just make it stronger even. And then I'm going to sew on my buttons, and then this poncho, but I'll sew on the buttons after I turn it inside out. See, this collar will lay like this once it's inside out. And then one of the sides, either on this side or the brown side, I'm not sure which one, I'll put those buttons on.